Hello, friends. Hello, Chatmosphere. How are you? How's it going? Let's see who's here. How's it going? Thanks for joining me. Last minute. Let's see. We have Ben Being Nessing. Hello. Hi. Thank you for rejoining. Oh my goodness, 420 Wild Dragon is here. The band is really getting back together, is it? The band is really getting Hello, 420. How's it going on in Canada Stan? Up in Canada Stan with your amazing Prime Minister is dating one of our astronauts. Yes, Katy Perry, a brave and beautiful astronaut of America. And she might be marrying your Prime Minister. Isn't that awesome, 420? So we might just be related after all, right? Yes, can you hear me? Is everything good? Just let me know. Tina's here, yes. Let's see, chopsticks. Sozo. Did I say it Sozo? Chopsticks, Sozo. Hey, Beth, welcome. Tina, is everything good with the, 5 times 5. Okay, so we're ready to go. Let's start officially now. If you are watching from a what is it called? A replay. I was going to say restream. Yeah, restream, replay. I hope you enjoy it, okay? We're just going to have a little fun and come together, discuss some of the things we've been into, right? A lot of us, we've been into these subjects, and I want to see what you think. It's sort of a little recap of a lot, and we can talk and add some more layers to it. Juan is here. Yes, the band is really back together. Hello, Juan. Please bear with me, okay? I'm just getting back to my sea legs, as they say, my techie sea legs. Hello, Juan. Thank you. Hola. Okay, so our beautiful Harlem Sentinel is here to make sure that we are protected in our Chatmosphere. She keeps us nice and safe. Thank you so much, Karen. Really appreciate you. Okay, so without further ado, I want to kick off. Let's do an official. I'm going to do the intro, okay? This evening's live stream will be entitled Leftover Chronicles, Palaces, Pipes, and Paradoxes. And if you don't mind, I'll be eating some leftovers, okay? Oh boy, the people that are really into, like, I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving, it's a pilgrim holiday. If you had my brother's cooking, you would give up all of your principles, okay? You wouldn't care about the pilgrims. You would want to eat these. Oh my goodness, let me tell you what it is I have. Of course, mac and cheese, collard greens. Okay, for our foreign people, I just want you to know this is a foundational American Thanksgiving, okay? We don't care about all the pilgrims and all the stuff, okay? We do this to get together with our families, okay? And no, we're not doing not getting together with our family thing. We love our families. I love my family. Okay, so look, I have turkey. This turkey is amazing. My brother brined it. He brined it. Oh my goodness, it just really soaked in. And what else? We have dressing. You could say stuffing. I don't mind. And these are sweet potatoes with pecans. Pecans, yes. And yeah, so I'm going to be eating a little bit. And listen, I had to go all Philly on you and have a ginger ale. I'm going to drink it out of the bottle, okay? I'll be real classy. That's going to be my meal for this evening with you. I wish I could share my plate with you, but I hope you get something nice to snack on. Come on, relax with me. Snack with me. Have a nice drink, and we know 420 up there in Canada Stan will have a little bit of the lettuce, right? Okay, fine. Let's kick off the song and we'll get started. I'll get my notes. I have my notes here, so we'll do it. Let's do it. reckoning, seeking balance, reclaiming culture. Okay, so, all right. Let's see. What are you saying, Juan? What's up? Let's see. Okay, you made me. I wanted you to have some. I thought I already told you all to have a snack. I thought that was understood in the Chatmosphere. Wasn't that an unspoken rule that you would bring the things that you like to the Chatmosphere? Do I have to repeat the rules of engagement here? We know 420 came prepared. What are you saying, Karen? Indeed, 420. That's our puff puff friend. Okay, so let's see. Tina, what are you saying? I just furnished some leftovers, but might need. Oh, you might get a second plate. I know this is the time of year. I know we do a little extra. I put on some pants that are nice and comfy, so that I don't have to feel the squeeze. Okay, so let's talk about something here. I want to talk about, well, more, not talk about, I want to react to a video that I came across. This video is so crispy. You know how you see something and the visuals are really extra crispy because I'm so into visuals. So it was put together really well, maybe by a robot, because it feels like maybe real robot perfection, if you know what I mean. And I thought we would watch it together and let's react and see what we can glean. It's a review for most of us. It's nothing new, but something new may jump out. That's what happened with me. Some new things are coming. Okay, so I have some timestamp notes here. And then also I want you to watch something after that. I'll tell you about that when we get there, okay? All right, so I'll be watching the chat as I can, but we got Karen. Karen, if you want to let me know something, just let Karen know if I miss you in the chat. Just bear with me. I'm gonna try to stay focused on my technologies, okay? All right, I want to thank you again for joining. And this evening is Leftover Chronicles, Palaces, Pipes, and Paradoxes is the title. All right, so I want to dedicate this in a way to, I told you that one of my little older friends that I went to Paris with a few years ago. We went to Paris with a group of elderly women, beautiful, golden girls. And I was there among them, and I was very protective of them. One of them, the one that died recently, and it just hit me today, the reality that she's really gone, okay? Because I really loved her as, she was an acquaintance friend, and I spent some time with her, but it was in Paris at the Palace of Versailles, where I had to watch out for her in this huge palace. She kept disappearing, and every room we would go into, she would wander off. It reminded me of one of my little brothers when I would go to the mall and have to take him. He would wander off, and it was so much fun trying to find him, right? He would be in between some of the clothes racks. I'm thinking he's somewhere else, and he was always in the clothes rack. So here it is, back to my little friend that recently died. The only way I could find her in the Palace of Versailles was that she had a bright green, like a windbreaker. And see, she liked to take these really nice photographs. That's why she would wander off and start taking these photographs. But we would tell her to try to stay with us, but she would still wander. But again, I would find her because of her green little, what do you call it, windbreaker. So yeah, today I thought about her, and that might be why I'm doing this live. You know how things just happen. So I want to dedicate this to you, Joan. You went to the upper room. I hope you are having a good time, okay? All right, so let's start off with the video that I want you to, okay, hold it. All right. I'm back. Okay, here we are. I have some little, getting used to my tech. But thank you for being patient with me and StreamYard again. All right, so this is a video that I came across today, and it is by a channel. Let's see, what is this channel name? It is, bear with me. I thought that it would pop up on the screen. Hold it. I'll let you know in a bit, okay? Because I don't want to mess up my settings. But this is basically about the history that we've all been questioning. So let's watch this together. Let me make sure I'm at the right place in the, I have my notes where I want to start off. Okay. I guess we're going to start from the top, but, okay, I'm just going to set, all right. Are you there? Stick with me.
The Hermitage, Versailles, Peterhof. These names are synonymous with power and cultural splendor. But one only needs to look closer at the details, and behind the gilded facade, something absurd emerges. Something so illogical that the mind refuses to accept it. In these masterpieces, where every line of the facade and the acoustics of every hall were meticulously planned, the architects missed one tiny yet vital detail. The official history, taught in schools and recounted on tours, asks us to accept a version of the world that is full of contradictions. We are shown images of enlightened monarchs and a brilliant aristocracy dressed in silks and powdered wigs. But in the same breath, we are told about the customs of the era. Historians sheepishly mumble that European nobility wasn't known for its cleanliness, that they relieved themselves behind heavy curtains in the hallways or in portable chamber pots, the contents of which were then simply poured out of the windows.
Okay. I thought I wanted to eat, but oh my goodness, how gross. Okay, I'm glad that you are engaging and letting me know what you think. Being Nessing says, lies, the lies, the lies. Okay, now, yeah, I find the story, the narrative to be really ridiculous because we have been told that these people were living in filth, yet we have these amazing structures like what you just saw in the entry, palaces all over the place. And you're telling me that at the same time, they would not have proper sanitation and plumbing? That seems pretty, yeah, found, for sure, found. Yeah, and it's highly unlikely that these narratives are going to continue, having any power over us because it's easy to see through it now. So, like I said, don't you enjoy the graphic nature of this video because like I said, is very crispy, the graphics, and I loved how it was put together, very tight. Like I was saying, it seems like a robot did it. You know what I'm saying when I say that? Tina says, how did we fall for all this false history? I know. Well, they made it dramatic and they were somewhat good storytellers, but it was just the internet intercepted their plans for this history. That was really their downfall, was the internet. Would you not agree? Okay, let me go to the next part that I want to discuss. Okay.
We need only look at the hydraulic systems of these very same palace complexes. Peterhof and Versailles are not just fountains. They are hymns to engineering, symphonies of water. They feature incredibly complex systems of communicating vessels, reservoirs, and sluices that carry water from dozens of kilometers away under immense pressure to create a spectacle of jets soaring into the sky. And all of this was achieved without a single electric pump, powered exclusively by gravity and brilliant calculations. The engineers of that era possessed a knowledge of hydraulics that could stump many modern graduates of technical universities.
Okay. If you look at this fountain right here, and like the narrator described the engineering behind all of these fountains. When we went to this palace, it was so out of this world. And it's nothing like seeing it just up close and personal. It's definitely from another world. You really, it's really, I mean, I have hardly any words. I was so floored, to say the least, with the details and everything. So, all of the gold. I've been listening to a lot of content lately that deals with New Jerusalem and heaven and the elements that these realms are made out of. I won't say will be made out of, because I think they're already here. But I think they're not, we don't have access, of course, because it all goes back to the garden, right? We were exiled from the garden, and I believe that the garden was a physical place, but we are prevented from going to that part of the realm at this time. Some of us are prevented, I'll say, or they give the impression that you're prevented, but I won't go into that right now. I want us to talk about it more and more. So, in terms of gold, when you read the biblical account of the streets of gold, I think this is literal in terms of the type of materials that the architecture of the other realm is made out of. I have to make sure I'm speaking in the present tense, because I do believe that it's presently, of course, the kingdom is here. The kingdom is here. And the gold that is described, the pureness of the gold. And if we can see that here in this realm, we have structures that have real gold, like this is unbelievable, you know. Yeah, so I'm just thinking, I guess I'm in my mind thinking about the details of what we can enjoy right now and what we will enjoy to come. So, yeah, let me go to the next spot in this.
The picture that history paints for us stands in stark contrast to this external splendor. We are assured that within these walls, where the fates of empires were decided, a choking stench reigned. The air was thick with the heavy scent of perfume, which, it is claimed, was invented not for seduction, but to mask the nauseating smell of unwashed bodies and human waste that had seeped into the velvet drapes and expensive tapestries. Kings, empresses, dukes, and ladies-in-waiting, dressed in silks and lace, were forced to use chamber pots or find a secluded corner behind a curtain. This is presented as the norm for the time.
Okay. Doesn't that sound ridiculous just to hear the narrator share what we've been told in history? You look at these amazing ballrooms, or what we were told were ballrooms. We don't truly know what these buildings were originally used, the function of them in the old world. We founded them, just like Being Nessing said. I think that's what you said, founded. So we are using these buildings in a way that's very low vibrational, I'll say, because a lot of these buildings we convert to government buildings and churches and stuff like that. It depends on the church, of course. So look at all this gold and everything. Wow. And the one in Russia, is this the one in Russia? Because it's two of them that they're showing, like in this video. But just to think that we're expected to believe that the people of that time are dressed in elaborate fabrics, and they're at these fancy parties, and they're eating luxurious food, but yet they have to go behind the beautiful tapestries and find a place to go to the bathroom. Like, we really should have stopped our teachers in school. We should have stopped them and gotten in trouble. I think a lot of us were the type of children that got in trouble for asking too many questions. But yeah, it's laughable now, Tina says. It's so laughable. That makes no sense at all. Wow, what a psyop. Yeah, so they're supposed to be stinky people, but they're wearing beautiful clothing. So how do you even get this clothing off? Think about the logistics of it all. So all of these women in these big hooped skirts are going behind tapestries and going to the bathroom. Yo, we really have to stop these people. We cannot let this go beyond 2025. We cannot accept their history. We cannot. Health issues, right? They had to be super intelligent people, highly cultured. They will not at the same time have poor hygiene. It just does not go hand in hand. It's not logical. So yeah. Wow. I'm blown away that this has been the narrative for so long. Okay, let's continue.
Stop looking at the palaces as the creations of their famous inhabitants and start seeing them as inherited high-tech objects. Imagine a group of people who, having survived some cataclysm, find an abandoned modern city. They enter skyscrapers, see elevators, but don't understand how they work and use the cabins as storage closets. They see complex ventilation systems, but not knowing how to turn them on, they brick up the vents because of the draft. They find bathrooms, but the water and sewage systems are offline or damaged, and they don't know how to fix them. As a result, they begin to relieve themselves in the hallways, because that is the only thing that aligns with their current level of understanding. This is precisely the scenario of primitive use and appropriation that we observe in the history of the 15th to 18th centuries. It is a classic cargo cult, but on a planetary scale, where instead of straw airplanes, we have the settlement of stone masterpieces left behind.
Okay. 420, right? I know. It's out of this world ridiculous. What did you say? You got in trouble from the nuns for asking? Yeah. I don't think the nuns like questions like that too much. Or Sunday school. You have to excuse me. I have a visitor. I'm going to have to ask to leave for a minute if you just don't mind. Don't mind me. Okay, Twinkle, I'm going to have you leave for a minute, please. Okay? Thank you. I know. I'll come hang out with you in a minute. Of course, I feel like a meanie right now. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to ask my friend to leave for a minute. One of my other managers. What did you say? Being nothing, furry friends. Yes, it was something you said. I missed it. Let me find it. Oh, there it is. You said they found toilets recently in an archaeological site. Oh, really? Oh, if you remember, let me know. Juan said so. They can build great buildings with no bathrooms. I know, right? We're supposed to go along with this, remember? Yeah, it's a laughable thing at this point. Okay, let's continue. Where are we now? 9:40.
Evidence for this theory is woven into the very architectural DNA of these buildings. Let's start with the most basic need in northern latitudes: heating. The enormous halls of the Winter Palace or Versailles, with their towering ceilings of 5 to 6 meters and gigantic windows that are colossal sources of heat loss, are equipped with only small, almost decorative fireplaces. Anyone familiar with basic physics understands that it is impossible to heat such a hangar with a small fireplace in the harsh winter, when it's 30 degrees below zero outside. Even if you burned entire groves of trees in them, all the heat would immediately rise to the ceiling, leaving the space below freezing. Official history tells us that monarchs and courtiers wore fur coats right inside the palace. But why build a residence in a northern climate with the thermal insulation of a summer pavilion? It's not just illogical, it's suicidal.
Wow. That's put in a strong way. Why would you build these colossal structures and not have proper heating and cooling? It's impossible. And you're in northern parts of the realm. No way. So I remember that would be one of the things my mother would say about the really big homes in Philadelphia, big stone. And she would always ask, like, how do they heat these things? And it's not effective anymore. We don't have the technology that they had for those homes. What are you saying? When I lived in England, I visited an old castle, many rooms and very damp. Yes. Those structures in Europe are so damp. It's a damp that it's hard to describe, right, Juan? It feels so ancient when you're inside these places. And yeah, it goes to the bone, kind of damp coldness from another world. Yeah, so that is so unlikely that they would not have all of the technology to go along with the structures. It's just, it's a given at this point. So yeah, that's another ridiculous thing that we are supposed to believe. All right, let's see. Let's continue.
Exist that complex systems of air ducts were laid within the thick walls of these palaces, heating the rooms from the inside using some form of free energy. The fireplaces we see today are crude and clumsy insertions made by later settlers who didn't understand how to turn on the main system, so they simply punched chimney holes where none had existed, destroying the original engineering just to avoid freezing. But the most obvious and disturbing evidence concerns the scale. The architecture of these palaces is clearly not designed for a person of average height. There are gigantic, massive doors reaching 4 to 5 meters in height, with door handles located at face level or even higher. To open such a door, an average person needs to exert considerable effort and reach up. The steps on the grand staircases are often disproportionately high and wide, making them awkward to climb. One doesn't walk, but practically scrambles up them. Mirrors in the halls hang so high that it's impossible to see oneself without standing on a ladder. All of this, from the general proportions of the halls, in which a person feels like an insect, to the small details of the fittings, indicates that these spaces were created for beings of a much greater stature.
All right. So we're now getting into the realm of biblical information about giants, Nephilim. And I did an upload about that a few years ago, my old channel. And when I talked about giants, I lost friends. Can you believe it? I lost friends for talking about giants. And it's amazing because a lot of people claim to be Christian, but they can't wrap their head around giants. I don't understand why. I know what it is. We weren't taught about giants as if they were real. We were taught as if this is all mythology. What are you saying, Beth? These were built for and by giants and titans. Their atmosphere was completely different back then. So maybe the need for bathrooms were different too. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I was thinking, I made a joke about that the last live we were talking. I was just, making fun of the whole idea and concept and saying maybe it had something to do with the food, that the food is so organic, for lack of a better word, so effective that the body absorbs it and there is no need for waste. That was what I was thinking, because I'm thinking light bodies and resurrected bodies. So it's just thinking. I like that we can be creative and think and reason together. We can go to the scriptures, and it talks about the Og of Bashan and his bed, and the dimensions of the Og of Bashan's bed. Are you kidding? Yeah. Let's see. 420 Wall Dragon says, didn't lose me at... you're still here? What happened? Did you get a little glitch? Yeah. So pre-flood times before the vapor canopy. Oh my goodness. Yes. I'm glad you mentioned the vapor canopy. I went to my old channel, and I haven't been on there because I'm locked out. It's so crazy. But I had to go and grab a video that I wanted us to watch together from my old channel. And I remember the vapor canopy conversation that came up when I was talking to Jason. And it captured me when he said the vapor canopy. I had not really... he called it something else. Okay, I heard about vapor canopy possibly, but it was what Jason, he put it in. Do you all remember the term that he put it in? I'll think of it. Why did I just can't, but it's like the vapor canopy, but it was another name he used. Beth, you don't know the other name that Jason mentioned? It was like 3 years ago when we talked with him, and he mentioned that thickness that I'll have to go back. But vapor canopy, it really describes it well, is what, it's what it is. And the air being so, you remember it, Tina? You remember the vapor canopy live stream? Yeah, not sure that it was. Oh, it'll come back to me. Okay, I'll talk about when I think of it, I'll let you know. But the vapor is so rich in everything that a body would need. You think about just the most optimum environment to breathe. And I've heard that, didn't we talk about this right after a volcano? And this was like a true story I heard. Right after a volcanic eruption, some scientists went to an island somewhere that had this volcanic eruption, and they were there like right when it happened or something. And the air turned very thick. And they said that they grew an inch, their height, they grew after being exposed to the air. And that it was like they grew instantly. So, okay, think about that. They grew an inch, or it might have been more. If you all know about this particular incident, but I thought about all of the vapor canopy discussions. I love it. And the fruit and we talked about the smoky god, and I think about smoky vapor. I think that, right? Yeah, there you are. Yes, everything is bigger. The livestock, the people, the fauna, everything's bigger and richer. Yeah. And it was something else about, oh, I recently heard, it might have been on TikToks. I love the TikToks. So they talked about this color that you can put in front of a plant, and it's a special blue color that they used in the 1800s a lot. And you can position this blue color, and I don't know how if it's like on a painted type of a surface or a glass blue, like maybe you could have blue stained glass, and have your plants in front of the blue. They say your plants will grow so massively, so quickly, if they are exposed to this certain blue frequency color. And I will look this up because I'm getting into my Washington era, right? My Washington era. I want to know all of this stuff about how to do these things. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, people. So yeah. Let's see, you say the canopy makes sense if you think of biblical cosmology and living in an enclosed system. There you are, waters above, waters below. I looked at the sky today. I was outside enjoying walking barefoot in the meadow, in the field. I was walking barefoot, and it was a carpet of pine needles, so it felt like a carpet. I was just walking all around. And at one point I bent over. Why did I do that? I'm just like, I'm stretching like a cat and doing all this stuff, and I looked up at the sky, and it looked like water up there. Do you do that sometimes? You look at the sky and you can imagine. It almost seemed like I was in water, like we're in water, but we're like creatures that could be in this kind of water. I don't know. Okay, don't take me serious. I'm just having fun. Okay, being imaginative. But yeah, the waters above. I'm fascinated. I love the whole firmament, the whole name. Do you find that you like the name firmament? Something about the word. I love words, but firmament does something. It resonates inside my soul in a different way. And yes, copper in the garden. Yes, for sure. Copper in the garden, I have definitely heard, is amazing. But look into this other thing, blue. Something about blue. And it may be the blue that you have right there in your name. I can imagine like that kind of blue, something that would be close to the sky. Yeah. And I talked to you all about visiting radium springs. Last year, I went to visit a radium springs. And radium is also something that they stopped the modern world from knowing about. But radium does amazing things for everything, people, plants, everything. Okay, so let's continue. I could talk forever, right? That's what we have a little more of this. Okay, let's see. 12. Okay, so we talked about the giants. And all right.
Kings and emperors whose names we know from textbooks. We are Lilliputians who have settled in the abandoned homes of Gullivers. We admire the stucco work, but cannot replicate the composition of the mortar that has held for centuries. We look at the perfectly fitted granite blocks and cannot explain what tools were used to process them with such precision. We simply arrived at ready-made stone mansions, cleaned them of dirt, and began to live in them, adapting them to our primitive needs as best we could. But if this is true, then two more, even more frightening questions inevitably arise. Where did the former, true owners of these palaces go? And why were their majestic homes abandoned and empty, ready to receive new tenants? The answer to this mystery may lie not in the heavens or ancient texts, but right beneath our feet. The evidence of this civilizational replacement is not confined to the interiors of palaces. It is literally on the surface, or rather, just beneath it, visible to any unbiased observer. One only needs to walk down a street in the historic center of any old city in the world, be it St. Petersburg, Paris, Rome, or Moscow, and look carefully at the bases of the old buildings. We are confronted with a disturbing and widespread anomaly. The windows of the first floors are halfway or even completely sunken into the ground. We see the upper part of a window arch peeking out from under the asphalt, while the windowsill is deep beneath the feet of passers-by. Often, one can also find doors that now lead into a solid wall of earth. This is a question frozen in stone, to which official history gives a completely unconvincing answer.
All right. Now, a lot of us have personally witnessed these sunken windows. Jamie, welcome. Hello. So nice to see you. Oh, wow. What are you saying, Beth? That's why Noxzema used cobalt blue glass. Oh, they did? It was actually a healing frequency and still is. Wow. Are you telling me they used to put the original Noxzema in a cobalt blue glass? Wow. Noxzema, that takes me back. I love the smell. I could smell it in that tingle, that cool, refreshing tingle. The women in my family used Noxzema, but it just seemed to disappear. Nobody talks about Noxzema anymore. Wow. They called it Noxzema blue? Oh, you're going to have me looking into that. Wow. Oh, my. That's fascinating. Jamie says, you are all my peoples and I love you. I would like to reconnect, yes, with some of my people. Oh, Jamie, we are loving you too. Love you and love that you're here. Yes, I want to do these more often, okay? You have to stay on me. I'm doing a few things. I'm trying to balance it all out. But it's not for lack of content and ideas. I have too many ideas. And I would go live every day, 2 times a day, with all the notes and the stuff that I've been compiling. But it's just finding the the openings, right? But I'll get better at it. I'm so glad you're here, Jamie. But I'm going to do more of these. Just look out. If you're not subscribed, do the thing you have to do to make sure you get the notifications. So when I think about doing something, last minute, or maybe I'll get on a regular, just talk me through it, okay? I'd love to do that. Have regular times like the old days, but I'm working on it. Okay, so now back to the sunken windows, and look at what they find when they dig under the cities of our realm. So Juan said, yes, Jenny, chop, chop. Don't make me get I have the spoon. Where is it? I had it. Oh, here it is. Oops. I'm acting like a cat. I'm so much like a feline, though. I've been told, yep, got the spoon. I'm all ready. But I don't think I'll have any rants today. Somebody left me a comment on my last live stream. They said, basically, how I interpreted what they were saying was, just give us information, but just leave all the emotional stuff, leave that somewhere else. And I said, I'm going to work on it. Thank you, though, for the feedback, sir. Okay, hey, you said New York City has many windows like that. They sure do. New York City is one of probably the most mysterious places in our realm. Definitely. All right, so let's keep going. Where am I?
They explain this phenomenon with the so-called cultural layer. The theory states that, over centuries, people brought so much dirt on their shoes, and street cleaners did such a poor job, that the ground level naturally rose by 3 and sometimes even 5 meters. Consider the absurdity of this. 5 meters is the height of a 1.5-story building. If we believe the official version, our ancestors voluntarily lived in a planetary-scale pigsty, where for centuries they did not remove trash and waste but simply compacted it, building new roads on top of the old ones. But this theory crumbles at the slightest contact with logic and facts. Who in their right mind would design a building with full-sized, beautifully decorated windows and grand entrances on the first floor, knowing that in 100 years they would be underground? Who would create expensive brickwork, arches, and decorative elements there which no one would ever see? When archaeologists or construction workers excavate the foundations of these buildings, they discover that these so-called basements are in fact complete first floors. They have windows, doors, often even traces of balconies, everything a ground floor should have. The answer is obvious, and it is both simple and terrifying. These floors were not built underground. They ended up there as a result of a catastrophe. Researchers call this phenomenon the mud flood, a global cataclysm that, in the not-so-distant past, buried cities across the entire planet under a multi-meter layer of clay, sand, and soil. Some event occurred, perhaps a comet impact or a series of massive eruptions, which threw billions of tons of rock into the atmosphere and then dropped it onto the surface, burying entire cities.
Okay. So, I want to thank you for joining Inna Divina. Wait, Inna Divina 1070. You said, and check out Myron Violet Glass. Oh, the name sounds fascinating. I had to write it down. Thank you and welcome. Please welcome our new guest to the Chatmosphere. You've got to hang out with us more. Liquefaction, Armageddon. Yes, it happened before. You think it'll happen again, Juan? Okay, now, a lot of the people we all listen to, our favorites in this scholarship we love. I love Leaving Babylon, Madeline. I love Madeline. I love Living in Satan's Little Season. They are a couple. Brother Phil and Crystal, Sister Crystal and Brother Phil. I love their podcast. And I've been just blessed by just hearing what a lot of them are now starting to, because we were new at this. And I hope that a lot of you feel this way too, is that we had to give each other a lot of grace because we are coming out of church culture. And a lot of us I'll speak for myself. I was miseducated in church. And it hurt me. I have church hurt, as they call it. I don't want to sound like a victim, though, with all that stuff. But no, I was miseducated. I put my trust, which, I can't blame them. I was warned. I had many Bibles. I can't really blame them. I should have known to be a Berean and look for myself, but I fell into the church culture and I went along with it for years and years and years. So coming out of that programming is going to take a minute. And okay, people like Shelley, There's No Place Like Home, she has pivoted off of like partial preterism. I don't know all the terms. Full preterist, partial preterist, futurist, rapturist. I used to be a rapturist, and I was a pre-rapture. Then they had the mid-rapture and post-rapture. Do you see how very confusing this has been made for us? So if one of us has another perspective, I think we should give each other grace when it comes to us reasoning on the rest of history, figuring out our timeline and correcting what we were miseducated about, And that's what I listen to a lot of them. And like I said, Shelley, if you've listened to Shelley, There's No Place Like Home, she's changed a little bit of her position. She's not into the short season of Satan type of thing. And then who else? It's a few people. I've been finding even newer people. But I am interested in the kingdom right now. And recently, I did hear somebody say that the mudfloods were possibly in certain spots around the realm, like the ancient cities that once stood that are totally gone, and the ones that are still partially here, maybe their judgment wasn't as harsh. But I believe that too, because rarely is an event going to be truly global where everybody is going to experience it, because that's not realistic. You know that there are people in this realm that never come into contact with our civilization. Case in point, the North Sentinel Island people. Do you think that they are even on the same timeline that we are? They might as well be on another planet. So the mud flood, I believe, happened in spots, just like the Great Depression. It did not wipe everybody out in America, because my family, a lot of them thrived during that time. Are you kidding? They were thriving during this Great Depression. So whenever we hear these things, we were mistaught about a world war. Didn't you think when you heard world war that every nation on the globe, because we believed in the globe then, but we thought everybody was fighting a war? No. So we have to, and that's the thing I like about Shelley. She is a wordsmith. She is really a good, all of them are excellent. Madeline is an amazing scholar. And when they can take the words and then they go into the culture of that time. And we're talking about early people, ancient people that are hearing these messages, and we have to be better at reasoning. But I like that we are. I don't see a lot of division in this particular group. I don't see a lot of disagreement, which I like. But I bounce around whenever I have time, and I try to take it in and see where's the group right now. And I think people are starting to, because as you start to study, as you start to even engage with the Most High Yah, because you're going to even relate to him differently, because now you understand more. So it makes sense. The relationship with him is developing in a new way. And so let's see, what are you saying? Jason said that everyone, oh yeah, that's right. Jason did say that every 138 years, because he said the Phoenix event, right? Oh my goodness, yeah, he talked about the Phoenix. I told my mom about that, and she always talks about the Phoenix event. So she's really cute, but she knows a lot, okay? But she remembers some of the things I talked to her about, what Jason said. So, and that was 3 years ago. Can you believe 3 years ago is when we hung out with him? He said every 138 years, some type of cataclysm happened, but it may be major or minor. Only 4 times was it a worldwide event. Okay, that might be the Phoenix event. Maybe. Let's see. Tina says, I'm still learning every day and gleaning knowledge. I keep digging into all of these mysteries. It's fascinating. I think reading the Apocrypha has helped me. Yes, the Apocrypha, wow. I want to read more of it, because I was really on a roll for a while, and I love the literature of the Apocrypha. It feels so different. And I know we shouldn't go on feelings, but it does. It feels different. And I enjoyed the Book of Enoch so much. It was like watching a movie. But a lot of the Bible, I look at it in my mind, especially the books that have the really beautiful imagery, like the Book of Isaiah, Ezekiel. I love Ezekiel. So I always love those type of books. Yeah, so, yep, okay, let's keep going. But look at this picture before I go on. Can you imagine seeing a scene like that in real time? And this is mud that's going to harden quickly. And you have to dig out of that, huh? Wow. All right, let's see. Where am I? All right.
Provides a comprehensive and the only logical answer to the mystery of the missing toilets, with which our investigation began. Imagine a high-tech building where all the vital utilities, water supply, sanitation, heating, ventilation, and power systems are located, as they should be, on the lower, technical floors. And then, in one moment, these floors are buried under a thick layer of compacted clay. The survivors, or newly arrived settlers, occupy the intact upper floors. They have neither the equipment nor the resources to excavate the city to a depth of several meters. They simply level the new ground surface to what used to be the second or third floor, turn windows into doors, and start a new life. But all the technology was left down below, inaccessible. The pipes are broken or hopelessly clogged with soil. What are they left to do?
Okay, what are they left to do? Can you believe this? We were told that this is history. But no, we were not really told about this part of history, right? This part, the mud flood part. If I had heard that word, I would remember, but I never heard about. I just heard about a flood only in Sunday school. We were all lied to, conned, controlled, and conditioned. Yes. The quicker we realize that and unify, unify as ambassadors for the kingdom of light, for the kingdom of Yah, Once we really get that together, it's going to be amazing. All right. So, all right. Let's get my next.
Were buried under a layer of soil, what happened to their billions of inhabitants? To those very Gullivers who built them? Where did they disappear? And the main question, if they disappeared, then where did we come from? The answer to this question can be found in a language that cannot be forged. The language of mathematics, statistics, and documentary evidence. If we look at any graph of world population growth, we see a strange.
Let me know if everything's okay with the stream because it looks like it froze. Is everything okay? Everything's good? I'll wait to get a yep. Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought I saw somebody mention, can you see the screen okay? Not just here, but is it the visuals okay? And are you able to see me? How's everything look, Karen? And sound? Looks good? And okay, I'll go on. This part, I really enjoyed this part because it really illustrates the population explosion, and numbers do not lie. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Juan. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're good. I'm going to keep going. Try to pay attention to this because I want to rehear it too. This is very fascinating. Let me go back to the beginning. Now that I know we're able to hear well. Okay, really pay attention right here.
Language that cannot be forged. The language of mathematics, statistics, and documentary evidence. If we look at any graph of world population growth, we see a strange and inexplicable anomaly. For thousands of years, the curve of human population is a nearly flat, barely fluctuating line. Then, suddenly, around the mid-19th century, there is a vertical, almost unnatural spike. Official science explains this demographic explosion by advances in medicine and the Industrial Revolution. But this version doesn't stand up to scrutiny when compared with other facts from that era. We need only look at the earliest photographs. Daguerreotypes from the 1840s and 1850s. Paris, St. Petersburg, Moscow, Rome, London. What do these images have in common? A total, deafening emptiness. Majestic, fully constructed cities with paved streets, embankments, and complex architecture stand completely empty. We are told this is due to the technical limitations of early cameras, the so-called long exposure time, which supposedly prevented moving objects from being captured on the plate. But this is a ludicrous lie, designed for those completely ignorant of physics.
Wow. I love how shady the narrator is. Okay. This right here is so eerie. Tell me, did you feel that eeriness when you first saw these photographs a few years ago? How do you say the word? The narrator said it perfectly. Daguerreotypes. I can't say this type of photography. 1 minute. Just give me a minute, okay? Let's go back and let's watch it again. And I'm going to listen to the photography of the 1700s. Right. I love that. But you know what? That photography, it's like a haunting. I'm trying to put into words. It haunts me when I look at it because I know people have said that it could possibly be photoshopped because they had Photoshop technology back then, and we heard about the vanilla skies of these photographs, and we were told that they were developed in that way so that they could hide the skies, to hide the airships and other vehicles and crafts that were in the atmosphere. And they were the Jetsons, right? In other words, so they made the skies look vanilla. And I am fascinated with that. I've always liked photography, and I've never done a deep dive into this particular type. But I'm going to take it back because I want to hear the narrator say the type of photography that it is. 1 minute. And then again, I want to look at these pictures again. They are absolutely, do you see what I'm saying? That is so haunting to see an empty place, because now we can think a little bit more. As we were new to these concepts, this is so hard to break through your cognitive dissonance. So once you could break through it, and you can start to consider and listen to others that are further along and have done more study, then you start to take on, wait a minute, questions, and you're able to think. But you can just look at this and see how whatever happened was so catastrophic. Can you just imagine all of the city is emptied? This is a judgment from the Most High Yah. This is an absolute judgment. We were told, I know early in the mud flood or Satan's little season, or short season of Satan. Some people have said like they don't like that term. Like Satan gets a lot of credit that he doesn't deserve. He is not in any way running the show. Okay, we give him way too much credit. Like, wow, he's like the most, I don't know what to say, but we just really focus on his talents and powers and his craftiness. But we need to focus more on the fact that the Most High Yah is orchestrating all of this, and nothing is happening without his permission. So maybe to call that the short season, I don't know, of Satan, it might, a better name. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm, again, looking at this, and why did they use that type of photography? Maybe it's the way the photograph looks to me, that it gives me a feeling of a weird nostalgia, a haunting nostalgia. And to think that this is an empty place, it's very haunting. It feels like what are they? Liminal spaces. You remember when Girl Code and I did that upload on the time traveler over in Spain, and how the guy wound up in the hospital? And then he was discharged from the hospital. Nobody was there actually to discharge him. He just woke up in the hospital. And once he discharged out of the hospital, no one was in his city. He was the only one there. And he started to document his experience with being the only one in this huge city in Spain. Do you remember when we did that? It would have been like 3 years ago. But that's what this is giving me, the feeling of that liminal, it feels like almost in a deja vu weirdness. Do you know what I'm talking about? Very, very. Let's see. Tina says it's almost like you've been there and you can feel something. Yeah, right? Yes. Yeah. I can't put it into words. I'm shooketh. I'm shooketh looking at this. Okay, let me listen to this type of photography.
Photographs. daguerreotypes from the 1840s and
Daguerreotypes. Let me look that up. Okay, that's what I wanted to find. Okay, daguerreotypes. Do you know about that photography? Daguerreotypes. Give me a minute, everybody. Hang on, please. Daguerreotypes. It would help if I could spell it a little bit, right? You remember that show, Tina? Okay. I'm spelling this in a way that you would say, Jennifer, you went to Philadelphia Public Schools. Okay, wait, daguerreotypes. Does that anybody know how to spell that type of photography? Anybody that went to private school here? Do we have any private school kids? Did you go to a friend's school? Anybody in the chat go to private school? Can you tell me how to spell this daguerreotypes? Wait, I'm gonna try it again. One more try. I feel like I'm on a. Oh, wait a minute. How did daguerreotypes? I know the first letter's D. Anybody? No private school students? Okay, because they're supposed to be smarter, right? Oh, I found it. Oops. Daguerreotype photography. Oh, yes, Beth, I know you went to good schools. There it is, Beth. Okay, daguerreotype. Let me just stop and do this. Let me nerd out for a minute. Okay, daguerreotype. Let's listen to how the
daguerreotype. Daguerreotype.
That's not how the narrative.
Daguerreotype. Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype. Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype.
Daguerreotype. Do I have it? Yes, Karen. Daguerreotype. Okay, daguerreotype is an early photographic process with the image made on a light-sensitive silver-coated metallic plate. I think of mirrors, right? The silver mirrors, mercury mirrors. Okay. A photograph made by this process, an early variety produced on a silver plate or copper plate covered with silver and rendered sensitive by the action of iodine or iodine and bromine, on which after exposure in the camera, the latent image is developed by, are you all ready? Beth? Lift up whatever you're drinking. I'm going to read. Wait till you hear what the rest of the sentence. I'm going to start again, but lift up your glass, Beth. Where was I? Let me go back to iodine and bromine. You have to be a chemist to be a good photographer, right? On which after exposure in the camera, the latent image is developed by the vapor of mercury. Take a sip, everybody. This is the best kind of nerding out. I love it. What? I love that. I don't know what it is. It is so, wow. I want to read it again. Iodine and bromine, on which after exposure in the camera, the latent image is developed by the vapor of mercury. The vapor of mercury. You better take that sip, Beth. The vapor, I gotta post it. That's so dope, right? The vapor of mercury. That would be a great band, Beth. If we really went out on the road, do you all agree? Who plays an instrument? Just put the instrument in the Chatmosphere. Let me see what we got going on. I'll do singing at least. I can sing, maybe. It depends. Okay, so Our group should be, I'm voting for our group's name to be The Vapor of Mercury. And we're going to be an old school R&B and funk and soft rock, right? We're going to bring back the good music, right? The Vapor of Mercury. Wow, I'm really distracted, aren't I? Okay, let me get back to what I was doing. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. How long have we been talking? The Vapor of Mercury. Hand drums. Yes, hand drums. You Tina says the Vapor of Mercury. Sounds like a cool The Vapor of Mercury. I'm so inspired right now. I just, okay. Let me get back to, okay. Are we ever going to get through this? Okay, so
1850s. Paris, St. Petersburg, Moscow, Rome, London. What do these images have in common? A total, deafening emptiness. Majestic, fully constructed cities with paved streets, embankments, and complex architecture stand completely empty. We are told this is due to the technical limitations of early cameras, the so-called long exposure time, which supposedly prevented moving objects from being captured on the plate. But this is a ludicrous lie, designed for those completely ignorant of physics.
shade. Okay, so we're going to keep going because I know I've been talking and yapping and yapping and yapping so much. We're almost there, okay? Almost there. Thank you for hanging. Thank you. Okay, so let me go to...
If the exposure was so long that people disappeared from the frame, then why are the shadows of buildings and trees sharp and clear? Why is the water in rivers frozen in time and not a misty blur? Why are flags on buildings hanging still and not smeared by the wind? And most importantly, where are the parked carriages, the horses, the market stalls that stay in one place for hours? They are not there. The cities stand like giant, flawless movie sets, awaiting their actors.
Okay, that was pretty deep. They look like empty movie sets, right? They do. That's a good description of them.
And here we come to the most shocking fact, which historians try to obscure with the term urbanization. In the 19th century, millions of orphans suddenly appear all over the world, as if from nowhere. This is no exaggeration. In Russia, enormous foundling homes are built, designed for tens of thousands of children. In London and Paris, orphanages are overflowing. In the United States, a whole program known as the Orphan Trains is launched, which for decades transports hundreds of thousands of children from the East Coast to the Wild West, where they are given to farmers as free labor. Where did these legions of parentless children come from? Where were their fathers and mothers? Did they all simultaneously fall victim to some selective epidemic that spared their offspring? Logic and common sense refuse to accept such an explanation.
Okay, so you wearing your tinfoil hat? Yeah. Well, okay. This orphan train thing, it sounded like tinfoil realm when I first heard it. I don't know about you. Some things I can say, oh, well, I don't know about that one. You know, you had me until you went with the orphan train thing. And it's just, a lot of times we just have to fight through our cognitive, again, dissonance. So now, maybe a year later, you hear Jerry Seinfeld talking about his father being an orphan or incubator baby on Coney Island. Do you find that interesting in this simulation, if you want to call it that, this what do you call the Truman Show? It's like the whatever people want to think, like it responds to our inquiry. But that was interesting to me that you started to hear in the marketplace of ideas, you started to hear this whole concept of asylums, of orphan trains, and then to have somebody who is famous in our popular culture, like Jerry Seinfeld, to then he did an interview. It might have been an old interview that somebody pulled where I think it was a recent interview. I should have found it. I wasn't thinking, but I'll pull it another time. But he talks about his father being in those incubators. So it wasn't far-fetched. Children must have come up from the underground after the cataclysm was over. Yeah. And then, when you think about when I talked about the Vietnam War on the old channel, and remember I showed images of President Ford going over when they had the fall of Saigon, and they went over and they picked up all of these babies, like 3,000 at one point of Vietnamese babies. And it was so tragic. One of those planes, it was a big military plane, I think, they crashed, and all of those Vietnamese children died. And it was just like, I can't even wrap my head around it. It's so sad. And they kept airlifting these babies out of Vietnam. And also, Hugh Hefner sent his big Playboy jet over there, the big black, it kind of looks like Diddy's plane. Diddy has a black plane too. Well, Hugh Hefner had a black plane with the Playboy bunny on the tail, and he sent the plane over to pick up babies, and it was like these Playboy bunnies just taking babies, putting them on the plane, and they had them in the seats. It was crazy. You saw the pictures I shared, the little babies in the seats on the plane, and they just I don't even think they had seatbelts on them. Jesus, you got to come soon, because I can't take it when it comes to the children. It really gets to me to see those babies. It was so heart-wrenching, and I don't know what was going on, but I know it wasn't good. And we find out later that, of course, these children were not orphans, truly. They were taken. And that has happened too many times. Tina says, yes, that sus, that Hugh. Yeah, always after babies. Yeah. Hef was straight up trafficking. Yeah. And Hefner had those tunnels. It just you put your whole conspiracy hat on for Hugh Hefner. We know that's CIA all the way. Whole black op. Diddy, all of them, Epstein. It's the whole thing. They haven't changed their methods. They just move a new player in place. But their time is up. So that's the good thing around, their time is up. Okay, let's continue. Let me see, where am I?
There is a terrifying but chillingly consistent theory that ties all these facts together. The buried cities, the empty streets in early photographs, the demographic explosion, and the millions of orphans. We are a civilization of orphans. We are the descendants of those who were artificially settled into empty cities after a catastrophe and a cleanup.
What do you think about that? Do you think we are the offspring of orphans? I don't know. That's a walk down some roads, because I believe some people could have stepped out of, they used to say caves, right? But I think caves was just, of course it gives a connotation, but not so much caves, but we have the topography of this earth is not what we thought. I wish I had a picture, because I have a picture of just levels of Earth. You've probably seen these places that you'll see one level, like a shelf of land, and then you go down. It's not a waterfall, but it's another like shelf of land. So it's like these shelves of land, and they got kind of go down, but you're looking at this higher shelf, and then you have the lowland basically. But some places are amazing, where you could see how another whole civilization could be living just below another level of land. Do you see what I'm saying? It really could be that simple. And maybe people live in, like what we were reading when we read the Smoky God, where they just live in the clefts, the mountains. You know, you go beyond a mountain and you're looking at lands that we might not see, because the visual horizon is cut off because of the mountain. Do you see what I'm saying? Or am I making sense? It's just that simple. It's so much of the known unknown world that is out there. And I simply tell people, you don't even have to talk about really going all the way to the ice wall, which I'm fascinated with, but just go to Cuba. Okay, I know it sounds crazy. You just go to Cuba. Okay, Cuba, we think of it as one island, but Cuba is one main island, but it has lots of islands, like an archipelago, like a lot of places are. You know, you have Scotland, you have, all the isles over there. Well, Cuba is like that too. It has a lot of isles. So some of those isles over there are familiar to like certain Europeans, of maybe they live in certain parts of Italy, and they go and vacation on these isles around Cuba, that we don't know anything about these isles. They have names that we don't know about. We don't have connecting flights to even go. But these people that live in Italy, in these certain places in Italy, they can fly directly to these isles that we know nothing about. Do you know what I'm saying? So if we don't know about isles that are supposedly known world places, then it's a whole other world. I mean, it is so, we could get into this. I could go off. Yeah, but it's fascinating. Okay, let me keep going for a minute.
Perhaps we were raised in some kind of incubators, those very same foundling homes, given new, simple surnames like Ivanov, Petrov, Smith, or Johnson, provided with a simple, linear, and understandable history, and sent to inhabit the ruins of a great civilization, which were presented to us as our own achievements. This is precisely why, for the vast majority of people on the planet, ancestral memory is severed somewhere in the mid to late 19th century. Ask yourself, how many of you can name your great-great-great-grandfather and pinpoint where he lived and where his final resting place is? For 90% of people, beyond that point lies a fog. The family tree is as if chopped off at the very root.
All right. So I want to stop there, and we can pick up another time with this subject of family roots being cut off, names being cut off, and identities being stolen, and that whole aspect. But also, I want to talk about resurrection and Eden, and just really getting that Genesis narrative, just to understand it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's pick back up at another time, okay? Thank you for joining, but I want you to watch a short little video. It's fun, okay? Hang out just another couple of minutes, okay? But I want you to watch this old video that... Hold it. This was from my old channel, and this is what I told you that I got in trouble with people over when I created this video. And it was just something fun I was doing, you know, but they got really mad at me for talking about giants. So let me play it. And what I want you to do, because this is from the children's book Gulliver and the Lilliputians and stuff, and a lot of the artwork and illustrations from those children's books. And I want you to just think about just the illustrations and kind of get into just the mind of a child in terms of the imaginative part of a child's, vision. And why do they do these sort of illustrations and really affect a child's imagination? Okay, so let me restart it. Okay, sorry, I'm having a little problem. Were you all able to hear that? Are you able to hear the video that I just played? It has a little music to it. Were you able to? I'm gonna try it again. I thought I had like a little trouble with it. No sound? Okay. Then I'm going to try something else. 1 minute, okay? Let me try this again. Give me a minute. I want you to just watch it. I'm going to try it somewhere else. One minute. Okay, here it is. All right. All right, let's try this again. Let me remove this from the studio and let me remove stop screen. I think I had to stop something. 1 minute, okay? No sound. Are you able to hear me right now? Am I good with sound? Let me see. Give me a quick update on the sound. Are you able to hear me right now? Did the sound get better? Yes. Okay, we're back. Gotcha. Thank you. Okay, let me try this one more time. Oh, I remember why. Okay, I see. It was something. It was just the way I set it up. I set it up as something else. It was a MP, whatever. Okay, I think just video, no sound. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Just let me know. Alrighty. So, thank you for. Oh no.
Forbes did an article where they detailed the relationship of Diddy and Usher.
No ditties. No ditties. Please, no ditties. We're accidentally watching ditties. Okay. No Diddy, no Diddy. Oh my God. Diddy, how did he get into the live? Okay. All right. The video that I was watching to react to was by the Archivist. If you wanted to look for that channel, it's called the Archivist. And I'll put it in the description after it renders. And it's called These Palaces Are Not for People. All right. So we're done. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Sleep well. And I will see you soon. I'll keep you posted. And yeah, thank you again. All right. So I will see you soon. The Cultural Reckoning, Seeking Balance, Reclaiming Culture.